Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, and welcome to the launch of Yoga Mudra Oracle. It is so great to see you all. And firstly, such a big thank you for being here and celebrating this moment, this very special moment with Steve and I. It's been a long time coming. It's been really 5 years from when we started the project until now. So it's a really amazing moment that I'm so excited to share with you all. And I want to thank you for your support, your unwavering support for our project. And I know there'll be a few people joining, watching the replay. So I just want to also say a hello and thank you to them as well. And I'm really truly taking a moment just to drink this in to acknowledge all of you and say thank you. And I can see some new faces there, and there's also some familiar faces. And so, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Emma Wertheim, and I am the author and artist behind Yoga Mudra Oracle, which some of you may have. And I'm also a collaborator with my husband, Steve Denham, who you'll be hearing from a little bit later. He's waving right now. And we've got a lovely hour planned. It might be slightly less than an hour. We'll just see how we go. First, just going to talk to you a little bit about a few things around Yoga Mudra Oracle. Then I'll start a slideshow and we'll take you on a little bit of a journey through the design and creative process. Then we'll have a deck activation for those that have a deck, and that will just be short. And that will lead in nicely to a meditation using a beautiful mudra, actually a few mudras, but one really beautiful one in particular that has themes around manifestation and abundance, because I think we can all use a little bit more abundance in our life. So, and then after that, we'll have our giveaway winner announced, and then we'll close. So, to be honest, leading up to this event, I have been a little bit nervous, and I think that's kind of understandable and natural. I've never launched anything like Yoga Mudra Oracle out into the world before. I've never hosted something like this on Zoom. So, I'm also incredibly excited. So, alongside all those nerves was, this moment is finally here. So I really wanted to work with that nervous energy in the best way that I could leading up to this event. So what did I do? Naturally, I reached for Yoga Mudra Oracle, gave the cards a shuffle. This is about a week ago. And I pulled this card. I'm not sure if you can see it that well. It's Vajra Pradama Mudra. And the mudra looks like this. The fingers are interlaced and the thumb is free. And I've got to say that straight away, just using this mudra, I felt this sense of calm. I felt a sense of strength. And I also felt a feeling of sort of groundedness as well. So I looked up the meaning, and the theme of this mudra is trust. And it's about letting go of fear, trying not to worry about your future. And it's also about stepping into a new way of being. So I felt it was just so on point. And I've been doing this mudra leading up to this event, like the whole week, even while I was out and about, on the street. I'm sure some people thought I was probably a little bit insane, but Maybe they didn't notice. I mean, it's not too ostentatious. It's quite a natural posture for the hands. But I've got to say, it really helped me and it calmed me. As soon as I did this mudra, I felt all those nerves settle. And I was reminded that is actually why I created this deck. That is actually the wish behind it. Because you can just use it like a normal oracle deck. You can just read the guidance, and that might be perfectly enough. That might be all you have time for. But if you want to take that next step, you can actually use the mudra and feel that guidance awakening within your whole body. You can actually have an experience of the guidance. So I think that's why Yoga Mudra Oracle is a little bit different to other Oracle decks, but it still can be used in exactly the same way. So I was just, this is why I created the deck, just so you could take another step with the guidance and you could feel comforted by experiencing the guidance. And I really hope that that's what you feel when you use it. So, like anything new, anything you begin, any big project like Yoga Mudra Oracle, or say starting a new relationship, or starting a gym membership, trying to get fit, or starting a new diet, trying to get healthy, I think what we can find is often there's this honeymoon period where, you've got all this energy, you've got all this momentum, you've got all this impulse, and you're excited and you're buoyed by this energy. And what naturally happens when this honeymoon period comes to an end, which it will, I'm sure everyone can relate to this, is that you're hit with, you kind of hit a wall. So, and that wall could be something within you, or it could be something external that stops you from progressing, from taking another step. So, why I'm mentioning this is that, working on your Yoga Mudra Oracle, Steve and I certainly hit a few walls. Often it was things outside of our control that sort of stopped us in our tracks. But there was such a momentum, such an energy from the very beginning to keep going, to keep moving forward, that we always managed to take that next step. And some of you may have heard of the mystic and philosopher called Gurdjieff. He was a spiritual teacher and he was the founder of the Fourth Way School of Ideas. He had he brought a really lovely framework of understanding around what actually happens when we hit these walls of resistance. He brought this framework to the West and he called it the Law of Seven, also known as the Law of Octaves. And what he would say is that you'd be progressing like up the scale to a new octave, but along the way, you'll be hit with these very definite points of resistance. And it's really in our control, like what we do next. Do we just give up, do nothing? Do we take a step back and reassess? Or do we take a step forward? Do we be really proactive? And I can tell you that Steve and I went through many, 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 many cycles of Law of Seven working on Yoga Mudra Oracle. But today is what you would call, or what Gurdjieff would call, a new octave. This is the launch of Yoga Mudra Oracle. This is like stepping into a new octave. So again, just another reason why we wanted this moment with everyone so we could celebrate with you. And before I start the slideshow, I just wanted to say one more thing, and that was, I think at these kind of big pivotal moments in your life, you take a moment to reflect on where you've come from and the journey you've been on. And it's very interesting for me to just reflect on that because I've worked, in corporate roles for just over 2 decades leading up to all of this. And in all honesty, I found that very difficult, that journey through all of those jobs where I felt like a fish out of water. And I don't have regrets. I'm not trying to say there weren't really good things about that time because there were. I made great connections. I met wonderful people. I learnt wonderful skills, but my heart wasn't in it. And what I can see is that during all that time, there was this quiet voice within, like a thread pulling me toward this. And I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where I was headed. I didn't know I was headed to here. This was a surprise. But I can see that I was taking small, little incremental steps in this direction. And I don't know where I'm headed next either. And I'm sure some of you might relate to what I'm saying. But it's just really nice to see that, you know, it's okay to honor that small little voice in small little ways. And slowly you will get there. Slowly, slowly, slowly. And certainly I take my hat off to those people that have been able to take a leap of faith and just throw their life in the air and caution to the wind and quit their job and go traveling. That has not been my path. That has not been my journey. And my journey has been hard, but it's also been worthwhile. And I can see that I wasn't ready to do any of this, to teach these beautiful wisdom teachings until this moment, until now. So just been reflecting on that and thought I'd share that. So let's have a look at the slides. So really, the wish behind Yoga Mudra Oracle was to make mudras more accessible. There's so many hundreds of mudras, and they all have a different theme. Most of them are very calming, very grounding, but they all have a different theme. And I really wanted a way to share how beautiful these simple, ancient hand gestures are with everyone in a really simple way, like using the universe or whatever word you have for that intuition, higher guidance, using that to tell you which mudra you need to work with. And hopefully, the mudra you pick is exactly the mudra you need. I also created Yoga Mudra Oracle to bring you in touch with your heart's guidance. And this is really a big one because in yogic philosophy, the yogis say that the heart is a seat of consciousness. So if we think about that, it's pretty interesting. I think if you asked most people out in the world where their consciousness resides, most of them are going to point to their mind or their head. But really, our consciousness is in our heart. This is where we hear the voice of our intuition. This space has been neglected in modern life. It's just how it is. We worship the mind, but really, we need to be coming back in touch with our heart because our heart holds the key. It tells us, it helps us move on the right path if we can listen. So, Yoga Mudra Oracle is about returning you back to your heart. It's also a simple way to access messages from the higher self. And you have a choice of being able to hold the mudra posture to really activate the guidance, or you can simply just use it as an oracle deck and just have a quick reading on the go. So I like to personally, I usually pull one card every day, and I usually do that at the end of my meditation practice. So, how it began? Well, funnily enough, I can't even really remember how the idea came. And I think that's kind of cool. I think that's a bit of a mystery. And it's like the idea just one day was there. It's as though it sort of floated softly into the back of my mind and then worked its way to the front of my mind. And it was like I'd always had the idea. And it was a very persistent idea. I mean, we all have lots of ideas, but this idea just would not let up. It was like I just had to do it. And it's interesting because this is me with my beautiful cat Trance, and this was 2016. And I was actually very sick at that time. I was in the process of trying to work out what was going on with my health. I had to take quite a bit of time off work. I was also partway through my yoga teacher training, and I wasn't able to do really basic things, like brush my teeth. I was very much housebound, which meant I couldn't really do any asana practice. And all I could really do was dive into yoga philosophy and books. And that's when the world of mudras opened up to me. So mudras really came to me at a very kind of dark time, really. And I remember the first mudra I tried, which was Dhyana mudra, pictured on the right, the mudra of meditation. I was kind of desperate. I was feeling quite, my mental health was suffering. And because I wasn't even able to meditate, even that was taking too much energy. So I thought, well, let's try the mudra of meditation. So I put my hands into this lovely shape, like a bowl. And straight away, I felt calm, I felt peace, and I felt as though I was meditating. And all I was doing was taking this shape with my hands. So naturally, I dove down a rabbit hole and I just wanted to know everything about mudras. And, I found out that they're mainly for healing and for spiritual growth and for really coming back to that heart space to hear that voice of intuition. And since I've been using them, honestly, my life has changed in really beautiful ways. Now, the next little pop-up image I'm going to show, I'm just going to preface and say I'm actually quite embarrassed about this image. It is the first prototype of one of the cards of the artwork. Now, I think my Photoshop skills were quite advanced at that point, but it really didn't translate. So I'm really embarrassed, but this is historic and I feel like I need to show it anyway because it's part of the journey. Um, what I had in mind did not translate. So here we go. Bit embarrassed. Terrible, right? This is Jnana Mudra. This is such a gorgeous mudra. I did not do it justice, but at least it sort of got a feeling out. And this was the beginning of the journey. The cutout is meant to be, yeah, the hand doing the mudra with the kind of flower inside it. It really didn't work. Anyway, this is where I hand over to hubby, who's going to talk a little bit about the artwork now. Thank you, Steve.
Hello, good morning and good evening and good afternoon, whichever applies. Um, it's wonderful to see you and to be part of this event today. And yeah, so I was there right from the beginning. So it was about 5 years ago. So it was 2020 when Yoga Mudra Oracle was very much a COVID operation. And I'd like to go back even years before that, actually, because there's just something I want to say about our relationship between Emma and I. We've long known that together we form one mind. So it's an experience of having one mind. I know that sounds a little bit like we each bring half a brain to the table. But can I just go on record and say it's a little bit better than that? Have you ever heard of the saying, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts? Yes. So in that sense, it's actually a bit of a magical kind of thing. The only, if there is a downside, then there's not really any downside. But if you want to say that, we don't always agree on who had what idea or who did what, when, or where. For instance, we can't even agree on our first kiss. Emma said it took place in front of the fridge, reaching for a Magnum. Now, can I just say, I'm talking about an ice cream, not a gun. And I say, well, I seem to recall the first kiss was in the hallway of the house I lived in. Anyway, at the end of all that, we have a big laugh and we just move on. It's as simple as that. So I remember well this image that you can see on screen at the moment. So this was Emma's, the first prototype of a hand posture. And she showed me that. And I actually immediately visualized a more linear look. So and I just said to Emma straight off, I can do that. And so the process began, certainly a labor of love, of photographing Emma's hands in the different yoga mudra postures. And then basically I would just retire to my bubble and come back with an illustration of that particular mudra. So in a digital file, which we then incorporated into the artwork for each card. There's 44 cards, as you know. But I'd also like to say, with our one mind, Emma reminded me, and this is something I can't believe I'd forgotten about. But there's a mural in the heart of the city, and it's on the side of a building called Pilgrim House, which sits right alongside my family's church in Pitt Street City. And this is going back a long time. I'm pretty sure I was a teenager at the time, and I belonged to the church youth group. And the church commissioned this mural. It's called, if you start on the left side, Peace, Justice in the middle, and Unity. Now, if you look at that middle set of hands there, you see on the right side there. So the two in the middle are actually my hands. So what happened was the mural artists asked the youth group if anyone could provide hand sketches, which they could use as a reference. So I put my hand up for that. And I've got to tell you how it's quite humorous in a way, but the only way to do that for me to draw my two hands was to draw my left hand with my right hand and then flip that over. We didn't have Photoshop or anything then. And I used the 6B pencil to trace that outline. And then I used that to form an impression on a separate piece of paper. So that became my right hand. So I really think, and now the focus is Emma's hands. And it's sort of like it's another synchronicity. So it feels wonderful to be on this journey. And I just like to close um, by again just drawing your attention to every time you draw a card, you are literally looking at Emma's hands. Now, that's a special thing because um, you're not looking at clip art, you're not looking at anything generic or just symbolic. It's actually Emma's hands. Now, I'm sure we can all agree, everyone, that it's all about the energy. Okay, everything. Our our life on this planet, it's always about the energy. It's wonderful to be with like-minded souls. I know everyone that's got an interest in this deck understands the importance of the energy. Anyway, that's enough for me. And again, lovely to see you all. And I'll now cross back to Emma. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Steve. And before I move on to the next slide, I will just take a moment to say and acknowledge how Yoga Mudra Oracle truly wouldn't exist without Steve's help and support and energy and effort and hours, many, many hours. Even though my name is on the cover of this, it really was a co-collaboration. And I'm so grateful for Steve's help and support. Thank you, Steve. So the design process, I just wanted to show you, oh, hold on. Yes, design process. Okay. So this was the first card that we create. Oh, it wasn't the first card, sorry. It's just showing you one of the first go at the deck. It was the first go, we had these frames you can probably see around the cards. And the artwork was quite bold and bright and realistic in a way. Like the rose is quite, you can tell it's a photograph of a rose. And so we had many, many goes at the artwork. We probably reworked every card at least 4 or maybe 5 times, and that's 44 cards. So it took quite a while to really get the right feeling. This was the next version without the frame. This was the next version, completely different, and this was a much softer image. And this is the theme of the whole deck. We tried to sort of make it a little bit softer, make the photos not as realistic, just to give it a little bit more mystery, I think. And then this is the final version with the name. And this was the very first card we created. And I just wanted to show you this only because I think it really set the tone. And interestingly, it's an intuited mudra. So it's the base, the heels of the base of the hands are touching and the hands are just open palms to sky mudra. And I had a feeling that I really wanted to incorporate intuited mudras that were just really simple and more just to give you a feeling. And when you do this posture, open palms to sky mudra, it just feels very receptive. It feels very open. It's just got a lovely energy about it. And I really encourage people to actually find their own mudras, come to their own mudras too, because our hands are incredibly intelligent. They're always trying to return us back to a place of balance, a place of healing, and they will do things unconsciously to help us. For example, this beautiful mudra, Hakini mudra. I'll just stop sharing for a moment. Might be easier for you to see. Hakini mudra, where you bring all pads of the fingers together. This is a mudra that you probably do during the day and may not even realize, or perhaps you do realize, but it's certainly one that you will now see other people doing all the time now that you're aware of it. And it's just a very natural placement of the hands. I see people doing this on TV like 3 times a day, particularly newsreaders, because this mudra is about focus. It's bringing the left and right hemisphere of the brain together. So when you do it, you can feel that focusing of your whole being. And it's also wonderful for memory recall. So our hands just know to do this when we need to think or focus or come to an idea quickly within ourselves. Our hands just know. So this is really how mudras work too. This is a mudra. So it's all about returning us to a place of balance. So that's why I encourage intuitive mudras too, because again, your hands know what you need, and you might just need to place your hands on your heart, and that might just be enough. And there's more emerging research about how the nerve endings in the fingertips actually connect to different neural pathways. So there's so much around this. It's not just made up. There's a lot of science, there's a lot of intelligence in these beautiful wisdom teachings. Oh, and I'll just say one last thing, and that is when I was coming to every single mudra in the deck, I would spend quite a lot of time in meditative reflection using that mudra, and I'd make sure I really understood the traditional meaning. And then I'd sit in that meditative state and just come to my own feeling of it as well. And that's where I would write the guidance, that place within myself. That's where I'd write the guidance from. That's where I would see colors or images or symbology, and I'd sketch it out very poorly often. And so I really tried to put as much of myself aside, as much as of Emma aside as I could when I was coming to working on this deck. And I'm sure Steve worked in a similar way. And look, I must say we've been getting some really beautiful feedback that the deck really is giving just the right advice at the right time, and that the deck really rings true. And it's just so lovely hearing that. That's all I could hope for. So I really hope that that's the same case for you when you're using the deck. So we're almost into our little meditation practice, but before we get there, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about finding a publisher and also make a very big shout out to Tanya Asan from Arcturus, who has just been like an earth angel. Steve and I are so grateful that we crossed paths with Tanya. Tanya really understood the concept, and we are just so grateful that she felt that energy in the deck and she's been such a support. She's been incredible. We have been in such good hands. Tanya, thank you. I know you'll be watching the replay. And also thank you to Kat Blanchard and Helena Bassar from Arcturus and all of Team Arcturus. They have honestly been just amazing to work with. We landed Yoga Mudra Oracle found its right home. So thank you. But the story behind finding a publisher, again, many law of seven played out, many setbacks, many you know, we had just kept going. We kept going, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy journey. And amazingly, I it's just quite an amazing story because I hit that wall. I hit that wall and I was so close to giving up, but I had such a strong impulse. Like I just felt I had to find a publisher. What I can tell you is that when you're trying to find a publisher for Oracle decks, straight away the pool of publishers is much smaller than, say, a book publisher. So straight away, it's just there's less companies, less publishers to contact, and which is a little bit scary. But I was determined. But I hit this wall. I just hit a wall. I'm like, it's just too hard. I've spent too long trying to find a publisher. I'm so close to giving up. Anyway, what happened next was I decided to do Hakini Mudra, that mudra I just showed you, where you bring all pads of the fingers together. This is the problem solver. It's for memory recall and for problem solving, and it's meant to show you your path forward. So I was in quite a desperate place. I was doing this mudra. I put a call out to the universe, a desperate call out to the universe. Please help me. Please show me the way. And I swear, the next moment, I saw a bear and a star just flash through my mind's eye. And I knew that was the logo of Arcturus, who I'd just reached out to. I thought, okay, that's interesting. Let's see what happens. Anyway, 1 week later, I heard from Tanya and they wanted to publish the deck. And this is just absolute truth. So, this mudra did actually show me my path forward. So, these are the sort of incredible things that can happen using these beautiful ancient hand gestures. So, who is the deck for? It's really for everyone, people that like Oracle decks, and it's for people that are interested in meditation, in yoga, on a spiritual journey, on a healing journey. Retreat facilitators can use them, and healers, Reiki practitioners. You could use it after your session with a client. It could give them something to work with in between sessions. So there's so many ways to use Yoga Mudra Oracle. How to use the deck? Well, I have always been like this, but I use Oracle decks in a very simple way. I literally just shuffle and pull one card. Sometimes I'll pull two, sometimes I'll pull three, but that's about as complicated as it gets for me. But there are some different spread options that are a little bit more fulsome in the guidebook because I know some people really love different spreads, past, future, all that kind of thing. So that is there, that is available. But I just use it in a really, really simple way. And lately, I've also been experimenting pulling one card from Yoga Mudra Oracle and another card from another deck that I'm enjoying at the moment. And what I'm finding has been great because I can see that there's often a correlation between the two cards, even though they're from different decks. And I think that can be a lovely confirmation that the guidance is just right. So I do encourage people to just experiment and be playful and just do whatever you feel. So now we are up to our deck activation and meditation. So for those of you that have Yoga Mudra Oracle, now is the time to grab your cards and just hold them in doesn't matter which hand, just hold them, I think hold them in both hands so both hands are touching. And if you don't have the deck, that's fine. We'll be leading into the meditation from here. So it will just be a nice preparation anyway. So you might like to now close your eyes and begin to settle. Take a moment to fully be here. Breathe deeply. Feel the weight of all the cards, allowing your awareness to now softly settle into your heart space. With each breath, begin to feel a golden light growing within your heart. Feel this special energy and allow it to move from your heart, traveling down your arms and through your hands into the cards, wrapping, infusing them with light, pure intention, and heart energy. May your deck ring true with clarity, tapping into innate wisdom, illuminating your path forward. Now honoring this sacred connection formed from your heart to your hands, to your cards. Give thanks for the guidance that will flow through them to reveal what most serves your highest good. So now you can place your cards aside and we'll move into the meditation. So just making sure you're nice and comfortable. Now's the time to take a little sip of water if you need it. So again, we're preparing our body for this mudra practice. We're coming within. We're feeling a slowing down and a settling of everything. Placing any worries aside. Connecting into sacred space together. A returning to our heart. And we can do this through the breath. So we begin to notice a deeper breath. As we breathe in, we feel the belly expand a little. The breath travels all the way down. As we exhale, the belly contracts a little, the breath traveling all the way up the body. And a few more breaths in this way. So we're breathing all the way down into the base. Belly expands. As we release the breath, the belly contracts and the air is traveling, or the energy is traveling all the way up the body, and a sense of it even moving out the top of the head. And we're breathing in again all the way down. Belly expands, nice and relaxed, letting the breath go, letting everything go. Energy traveling upward, out the top of the head and even beyond. And just a couple more breaths in that way, in your own time. A feeling of expanding, a feeling of releasing, of letting go. And we'll return to a natural breath now. And we'll use Jnana Mudra to begin. So we're bringing our thumb and our index finger to touch, and the other fingers are nice and relaxed. Backs of the palms resting on the tops of the thighs. So thumb and index finger touch. The fingers should feel relaxed, even though it's an active pose. So for this one, we're really returning to our heart. This is the mudra of heart wisdom. This is the mudra that brings us back into our heart space. And I'm going to read the guidance for this one from the guidebook. This one is called Sacred Heart Space. It brings together the energies of the solar plexus and the heart chakra. Hold a sense of sacred space and allow your heart to speak its truth. Light a candle, breathe deeply and quieten your mind. Let your heart flame expand out and touch the world with its unique color and healing radiance. As you rest in quietude and inner reflection, allow words or visions to come to you. Be open to messages and remember that you are a being born of starlight. Through the portal of the heart, you can receive great and sacred wisdom. Jnana Mudra will help you open your sacred heart space. And the affirmation for this mudra is, you might like to repeat this quietly to yourself or internally. I allow for divine guidance, light, and wisdom to open as a rose within my sacred heart space. So just allowing for that beautiful space within you, allowing for it to speak any wisdom to you that it has for you today, like a rose unfurling, breathing in its scent. Another couple of breaths in this beautiful sacred heart space. When you're ready, we'll release that mudra, we'll release that experience, and we'll move into the next mudra. This one is called Kubera Mudra. This is quite a different energy altogether, and we're bringing together our thumb, our index, and our middle finger to touch. So the first three fingers are touching, and then the ring and the pinky fold towards the palm. So the thumb, index, middle finger touch, ring and pinky towards the palm. And again, just placing it where it's comfortable. So you might place it on the top of your thighs, wherever it's comfortable. And again, try not to hold too much tension in your hands as you hold this mudra. This mudra is such a powerful mudra. It's the mudra of manifestation, the mudra of abundance. Kubera is the god of wealth. And it's not necessarily money that it's talking about, although it could be. It's more about spiritual abundance, and it's about receiving that abundance within to yourself, and also of a giving of that abundance to those around you, to the atmosphere around you. So it's a giving and a receiving of that abundant energy. And I'll just read a little excerpt from the guidebook while you hold this mudra and feel into this very different energy, quite an active energy. I'll just read the affirmation for this one. I think it's more appropriate. A rainbow of manifestation calls to me. I open the door with a clear mind and heart and walk through. I'll read that again. A rainbow of manifestation calls to me. I open the door with a clear mind and heart and walk through. So now is a time to focus on anything you wish to bring into your life or anything you wish to achieve. Or if you have been feeling like something has been hard to move through, this is what you will focus on using this mudra, calling in that open doorway, calling in abundance, calling in manifestation, asking for help, asking for guidance. Please help me get through this. Please help me take a next step. So really just spending another moment feeling into this mudra and to the energy of it. And preparing now to release that experience and to release that mudra. And we'll move into our last mudra. And for most of us, it's early in the morning on Sunday, but for some of us, it might be later in the day or even evening. So you may not want to do this if it's nighttime. This is prana mudra. This is all about vitality and energy. It's very active. So if it is your evening, perhaps just do Anjali mudra, or you're welcome to try prana mudra if you'd like to. So prana mudra is an intermediate mudra, so it's a little bit more complex. So if you find it a bit challenging, please just come into Anjali Mudra, prayer pose, and you can always visualize Prana Mudra if you're not able to do it. And visualizing a mudra is equally as powerful. So this mudra, we're bringing together our thumb, our pinky, and our ring finger. So thumb, pinky, and ring finger touch, and we extend our index and middle finger. So thumb, pinky, and ring finger touch, and we're extending our middle and ring finger. So it's a little bit challenging. And if it's too hard, just come to Anjali Mudra and just visualize Prana Mudra. So we're placing the backs of the palms on the thighs, or if you'd like to, you can actually dig your elbows a little bit into your sides. That's a very active expression of the pose, but you're welcome to just relax your hands too. I generally like to relax my hands on the tops of my thighs. I find it a bit simpler. So this will be our last mudra. Again, we're moving into a very different energy, a very active energy. This energy is all about vitality, sunlight, and it actually has been proven to increase blood flow, this mudra. So this mudra activates our base chakra. And I'll just read you a little excerpt from the guidebook. This mudra connects with your root chakra, with the energy of Mother Earth or Gaia. Don't be afraid to activate this force within you. Allow it to flow ever upwards through all your chakras. And the affirmation is, like a Sufi dancer, I spin and flow, moved by the pulse of a cosmic heartbeat. Like a Sufi dancer, I spin and flow, moved by the pulse of a cosmic heartbeat. So, really feeling energy moving through your whole body, vitality, pranic energy cascading through you, revitalizing you, preparing you for your day. One more breath here. And when you're ready, we'll release that mudra and we'll come into prayer pose, Anjali Mudra, and give thanks to the energy that we have all shared in together today, and give thanks for anything that was shown to you. And we give thanks for what might keep unfolding for you. And if you'd like to, you can bow your head and say namaste if that feels right. And releasing that mudra and returning back to the room. And we will close in a minute. There's just a couple of exciting things we need to do before we close. So we'll try and keep this beautiful energy with us as we move into that. And I hope you enjoyed that experience. And please feel free to reach out to me afterward to let me know what you felt. I always love hearing about people's experiences with mudras. So I just wanted to announce something very exciting. And I've been working quietly for a few years on a course that I'm about to launch into the world in about a week. It's called Yoga Mudra Magic, and it's about mudras, of course, but it's also so much more than that. It's really about tools that will help you weave the sacred into your everyday life. And this is something I've been doing in my own personal work for 3 decades now. So it's bringing all of that into this course along with mudras. It's also made for the busy person in mind because we all have a lot on our plates. And I certainly don't want to add something more. So this is to really help us manage our lives in a much better way. It's really there's so much in this course. It's been such a joy to honestly put this together, and I'm so excited to be launching it soon. So it's about also creating a lifelong spiritual practice that is actually sustainable, because I know, there's so much out there, so many different ways, and I offer to you a few different ways so you can see what works for you and create your own spiritual practice. It also comes with this beautiful companion workbook, which is 96 pages. It's quite comprehensive, and I've designed it, and it's something to keep and refer to. It's basically a summary of the whole course, so it can be easily referenced. And the course is delivered live. There's 3 live sessions, and it's also delivered through videos and audios, and yeah, it's videos, audios, and I know I'm forgetting something else. So, anyway, I'll be sending a little bit of information about that over the coming weeks, and I hope some of you may be interested to join me within it. I'd love to see you there. So, the most exciting part of today is the giveaway winner, and then we will close the session. And the winner will receive Yoga Mudra Oracle, a lovely sari pouch to keep your cards in, a crystal bracelet, and a mudra notebook. So take it away, Steve.
Hello, everyone, again. And you'll see I have a goldfish bowl here, and everyone's name is there, including people that just expressed their interest in attending today. So very comprehensive, and I'm just shuffling all the names. So, and we'll soon have a winner. There we go. Emily M. Yep, there you go. That's our winner. Surname begins with M and first name Emily. Thanks, Em.
Thank you, Steve. I know Emily, and I don't think she's on this call, so I'll be sure to reach out to her. Congratulations, Emily. And really, again, thank you so much for helping us celebrate today. It's just been wonderful to have this moment in time with you all. And I hope you can take some of the energy that you felt in the meditation into your day or into your evening. And I'm wishing you a wonderful, wonderful day or night. And honestly, thank you so much. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions whatsoever. I'd love to hear from you. So, thank you everyone for helping us celebrate today. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And goodbye.